Hello, welcome to Board Game Co. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a review of Kingdom Rush.
And before you jump into it, before we jump into it, my usual format for these reviews is I start by telling you all about the game, overview, how it plays, just trying to cover those brief details. But that is actually in a full other video, so if you want that, just a link down below, or somebody will remind me that I forgot to
We actually have a variety of other videos on this title over on my channel, Quackalope, which you should totally go subscribe to immediately. We have a full gameplay and a preview. On your channel, we have a overview of whatever is new in this core system.
And general rules.
Yep. Whatever the case. And now you're here for our final thoughts.
Review, what we liked, didn't like, what can we see others not liking, final thoughts,
now,
and
before we dive into this, I do want to make sure that I lay the groundwork. I am doing a series of sponsored content for Lucky Duck. I am super excited to be working with them on this project, but that does set the foundation for a accurate and thorough review. I will still be honest and genuine, but you should be aware of that.
And to be clear, you're not in any way being sponsored for this video. This is you joining me in my review.
100%.
Just because why
not?
But
I'm just giving context. When they swing over to the gameplay, they will see a little sponsored video down there.
Absolutely.
Board Game Co. still refuses to take money from the majority of publishers, and so he's going to be really mean.
Sure, because I haven't already put out a review of Kingdom Rush Rift in Time saying how much I love the game.
This is an entirely different game. Standalone on GameFound, and let's be honest, they completely messed it up.
Exactly. So let's go through it. So again, if you want the overview of how it plays, link down below, we'll cover that. We're just going to jump straight into it. This is going to be a standalone game, like you already addressed. Standalone game. It's basically going to have a lot of the same core elements while bringing new things to the table, taking away old things, and all of that. So the usual format is going to jump straight into it. What do you like? And you can well, in this format as well, we can address it both in and of itself as well as in comparison to the other.
Okay. What do I like about Kingdom Rush in general? Overview. I think this is a really, really good tower defense and polyomino puzzle.
Okay.
I did not know when I first experienced the game how they were going to execute on what the app did, because I'm a big fan of the app. Except for the pay-to-play parts of it, which,
Fortunately, this is completely free.
It is.
Head over to GameFound where you can check it out completely.
Once you get it all,
totally free.
You have it all. But no, legitimately, I didn't know how they were going to translate that into a system, and I was pretty cautious of the polyomino aspect of it, thinking that'd be a degree fiddly, it'd be a mess to actually play with, and I think they've executed on the feeling of a tower defense game really, really well. I really like the interplay between two players. I think it's interesting solo, but it's much more of a thinky puzzle solo. And I think it executes on the mechanics of a tower defense game in a way that I probably haven't seen other games do as accurately.
Absolutely agree. So for myself, it's going to have most of the same notes that my original review of Rift in Time did in terms of what I liked. I like the polyomino, I like the powers and abilities, I like the upgrading of towers as you play the game, that aspect of increasingly feeling more powerful. I like the heroes that the game presents in terms of giving you these unique abilities, different ways to engage in the game. And
I actually find the heroes less interesting than the towers. But that is also the case in the app for me.
I don't know if I agree. So in the app, I actually agree with you. The heroes are kind of like the side thing that I need to deal with. In this, I actually really like the heroes. I find that the heroes can feel very powerful. Like, as if you watch the gameplay on Quackalope's channel, it's surprisingly how bad you can do when your heroes are dead. So just saying, if your heroes die, it shows you just how impactful the heroes are. Because the thing about when a hero lands on a tile, plus their actual ability, which could be like 3 or 4 points of damage, you're talking about like 8 points of damage all at once, which is a big deal. So I like the heroes.
But I really like solving this place down these tower puzzle and see where you can do pips and pits of damage as everything marches towards your gate. The heroes feel like the Hail Mary. The finish off a tile, secure the forces, keep things from being too overwhelming.
Well, I don't disagree there. That makes sense.
But for me, this tower placement is the real puzzle that I enjoy the most.
Cool. As far as changes from the original game to what I like. So to begin with, I do like the various tiles that go on the board. We played with the lava pool and the little flower thingamajiggies.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the full game is going to bring to the table. This is just a prototype.
I think they add some variability.
Yeah.
I don't know that they alone would be a selling point for me.
Oh, not at all. No, but I like it. I do like those additional things that they're adding. Additionally, I like, so this is going to show up again in what I don't like, but I like the upgradable towers not just being going upwards, but also going sideways. These stickers
I thought
on
you
the
might.
towers.
I thought you might eventually complain about the stickers.
Oh, I'm going to.
We're gonna.
But I like them.
We're gonna have a conversation about
We'll
this.
have a conversation.
Because I'm interested to hear what you think. I genuinely like the upgradable stickers so much that I don't mind that they're stickers at all.
So
But we'll get into it.
The spoiler stuff. But my first 2 plays of the game, I completely avoided using them. I only upgraded the original towers. So
Okay.
They did some changes or whatnot. I ended up using them. I like what they add to the table. I'll come back to them and what I don't like, and you can give me a hard time there.
Yeah.
Past that, what I like, one of the things I really like about this game is specifically Elemental Uprising compared to Rifts in Time. I really prefer the events as opposed to the portals that took away your towers.
Sure.
Even though it's a balance thing, I just didn't like the feeling of leveling up those towers. Like, you're like, I like these towers, I like the puzzle, I like
And
that.
have something it forces you to remove something in order to do damage to
It was frustrating. I like Kingdom Rush, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the portals. And for this one, I like a lot more the fact that the events give you some sort of narrative twist, and I really appreciate that. I also will say, while I don't particularly care about those shaman walls, it's another puzzle to deal with. I was cool with it, no problems there. I really like the tough thing. That tough creature where you only put down one piece at a time.
It's a nice puzzle.
It really forces you to completely re-examine. Like, the shaman walls, I guess I rarely felt restricted by them, so it didn't really bother me. But the tough thing completely changes the way you have to address everything, because you can't just stomp on it with your hero, you can't just throw a 3-piece down. So I really liked that as well. And I think those would be the main things I overall liked about Rift in Time, about Elemental Uprising compared to Rift in Time.
Yeah, differences for me that I like compared to the two. I like the new towers.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that we're getting new abilities, new towers, new special abilities. Like these are a little bit more complicated, it feels. And I actually appreciate the fact that as they scale, things get a little bit more complicated and messy.
Sure.
Again, we're going to get into this. I really like the ability to personalize each one of your unique towers.
Sure.
I think for me, that makes... Because this is the most interesting puzzle for me, and that makes it a lot more interesting.
So I will say, I already included this in my like, and in my don't like. We'll come to that. But I will say that the more of these that there are, and the more interesting they are, could drastically increase that. Right now, we've got 4 stickers.
Yeah. My assumption is there's going to be a lot more available.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some interesting ways that you could just
The interesting ones are going to be key, and that's going to be a balance, because if they make them more interesting, I might like them more, but it's also the more interesting they are, the more confusing they can be, which could be a problem as
well. And that's also the case with things like the terrain tiles.
100%.
The 2 on the table were pretty standard.
Simple, yep.
They were fine. They were interesting to interact with. And they actually tied to some of the events that were happening, which I actually did like.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see where they go with this idea. It just adds modularity to me, which is always nice, but isn't necessarily seal the deal.
Okay.
So,
what do you not like?
What do I not like about the game as a whole?
Both.
I have one major complaint of Kingdom Rush.
Okay.
It does not. It is such a good puzzle. It doesn't feel thematic. Which for me, I mean, if you don't care about theme,
no, I agree.
It doesn't matter.
I'll throw that in my what I can see others not liking category.
But for me, it is such a good puzzle, and we mentioned this in both gameplays. I've mentioned this. We get to the middle of it, and all I'm doing is focusing on where I'm putting down pips, how I'm organizing things. It very much feels like a tower defense game.
Sure.
I don't know that you could. I won't say that. I don't know how you could effectively execute on a polyomino tower defense game without it turning into a really interesting, good puzzle, without losing a little bit of the theme and a little bit of the stuff that I'm looking for there. But even with the events that we have in the prototype here, they didn't bring in as much story, as much theme, as much environmental descriptions as I would look for me to be immersed in the thematics of the game as opposed to just the puzzle nature.
Yeah, I mean, I completely hear what you're saying. It doesn't personally bother me because I'm not looking for the theme as much.
Again,
but I completely
it doesn't actually hurt the game for me.
It's just
this is the weird thing where the puzzle is so good that I don't mind losing thematics in that process.
Sure.
But it is a complaint.
Cool. Reasonable. For myself, there's going to be a few things, and again, I'm going to combine stuff I've had in my original review, because there's a lot of overlap.
I got one more. Can I say one more?
Yeah, please have at it.
If you're not playing with the towers,
Oh.
you have to buy the towers.
Yeah.
You have to.
No, you're right.
I understand the solution they tried to use with the cards that get placed
sheets,
down,
the
the little
plastic
sheets.
yeah.
They do add aesthetic value. If you're not playing with the towers,
it's annoying.
You're going to have
pieces shift around. It's
the fiddliness that exists in this game is mediated only by the production quality and the things that they do to reduce that, making sure that these tiles are all self-contained, that that nothing is sliding around or sorting off. This is part of that equation, and I think is essential to the experience of this game.
And so to paraphrase, the thing you don't like is the potential selling of them separately.
Yes.
They should be together.
I'm saying that
they're practically essential.
I'm saying that when you back it on Kickstarter, you're going to have options. You're going to have an option that doesn't include the upgraded towers. When you back it on GameFound, because it was originally on
Yes.
Kickstarter, it is now going to be on GameFound. When you back it on GameFound, you're going to have potential options. One of the options will not include the towers.
Yeah.
If you're getting the game, the towers are essential.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay. For myself, what I don't like is going to be going back to that fiddliness we just touched upon.
Sure.
In general, this is my complaint against the original Kingdom Rush. It's still true here. I love the game, love the puzzle, lots of little pieces to fiddle around with, giant piles of stuff, a lot of little rule texts to be aware of in general of, when I do this, the mini boss activates like that, and then this tile activates like that. Lots of just small stuff that overall, great game, little fiddlier than I would like in what is ultimately a great puzzle. Specifically, the things about Elemental Uprising that are going to be cons for me is, I'll start with the easy one before we get into the stickers argument, is going to be, let's just say this, and this is going to tie into what I just said again. Do you think, Jesse, at any point did any of our heroes end their turn on that space?
No.
You're sure that we didn't?
Yes.
Oh, never mind. There goes my point, because I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I just found myself wondering, did I end up with a hero there and forget to take a point of damage, because you're supposed to take a point of damage?
I didn't.
You didn't forget.
I didn't. You might have.
But that's the problem. So that's the thing I don't like. I
remember because now that I'm thinking back, I'm very confident in answers.
Speak confident.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I usually speak very confidently forward,
100%.
but I'm not sure. That would be more accurate. I will confidently say I don't know.
I think I was here. I don't think I was here.
I do not,
but
believe
I'm
you were
not
ever
certain. And the point I'm trying to make though is that this effect over here, contrary to this effect, which is you either use it or you don't, which is fine, this effect is adding something you need to be mentally aware of, or you're technically cheating. If I had ended my activation here and not taken a point of damage,
that
then we cheated.
changes a big course of the game.
So I don't like when a game adds more and more elements that are not just passive things you can either do or don't, but things that if you
have to
didn't
upkeep.
do. So like it's a new rule that gets added to the game that may whatever. And again, not a big deal.
Sure.
Not the end of the world. Not a huge fan of that kind of aspect being added. Just one more thing to be mentally aware of. Past that, I will say that I didn't like, and this can be nitpicking a bit, but I did not like that the shamans, and I don't know if this can be in the final version of the game or not, the shamans have an inconsistency in the game that when you kill the shamans on the shaman tiles, if you can find one of those, they're still going to have, here we go, let's see if we can find one. So the shamans actually physically have little pictures. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a review. I don't know if it's showing up or whatever. We'll figure it out. But either way, the shamans are going to have their little pictures
try
on
the
it.
top camera, see if it works.
And when you cover up those shamans, it doesn't...
Watch this.
Yeah, go ahead. So when you cover up those shamans over there, what's going to happen is the shaman walls are still in effect.
Yeah,
so it's
which
an
is
inconsistent
a
gameplay
colored
experience.
sequence that you normally would cover up in order to defeat it.
So again, small nitpicky, but it's just an inconsistency. It's one more thing to be remembered. It's like, oh, powers and abilities from creatures, but when you kill them, they're gone. But except for the shamans, when you kill them, that's still there.
Yeah.
Nitpicking, but I will nitpick. And then for me, the biggest thing is going. Oh, well, let's cover. Nope, that's what I'm gonna say for other thing. The biggest thing is going to be, like I said, those stickers. I like what the stickers add to the game. I do.
Yeah.
I don't like stickers on my game. I'm always going to be sitting there, and I know...
But I imagine they're going to be doing... My assumption is they're going to be doing the equivalent to those peel-off plastic stickers that go on, like, windows and glass and stuff like that.
And those eventually fade over time. And so I can't... And it's illogical.
Sure.
Because I'll play a legacy game, and I'll be totally fine with it. And I'll play a game 4 times. I'll back a game on Kickstarter, get it to the table, I'll be like, this is so much fun, and I'll play it, like, 4 times in a year. But I just can't stop the mental thought process that as I have stickers on my cards, that I'm constantly slowly degrading what I have at play. And it's more of a mental bother than an actual problem. But for me, I don't like stickers in my games, and I'm still not gonna like stickers in my game.
Yeah, here's my thing. I like the upgrade system so much. I do not know of a reasonable and rational way for them to not make the game ostensibly more fiddly without including something like the
I
stickers.
don't disagree with you.
And so from my stance, it doesn't matter. If you play your game so much that you wear the heck out of your stickers, you've played the game enough to justify a new sticker pack or another core game.
Ooh, a new sticker pack. Just throw in more stickers, extra stickers. I want extra stickers.
A double sticker pack.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. That'll help because the other thing I thought
you just don't like the idea of it wearing out.
Because I like the upgrade system. That I was like, what else can we do? Maybe we have custom sleeves. Maybe you just have sleeves for your cards. You can throw them on. But they're so expensive. I know
they wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, from Dead Reckoning, I know from AEG and their card crafting system, I know how expensive those are.
They would be more expensive than all of the cardboard in this game.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I like the system. I do. I genuinely like the system. But also I don't. But
I think you're wrong. Provide a better solution, or your critique is invalidated.
Listen, I love living in Cleveland. I don't like the weather here. I'm still living here.
That's okay.
Some of these things are a package deal, and that's okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're wrong on the stickers.
Cool beans. Okay, that part's going to be cut. Apparently, I'll start editing. So, anyways, that's going to be that. Lastly, what can you see others not liking?
What can I see others not liking? If you're not into a strategic puzzle that feels like you're losing all the time, it really does.
I know.
This game does a really good job at keeping the pressure on for the entirety course, for the whole course of the game.
Yep.
It can be difficult. You really have to understand degrees of strategy. You should really start from round one and work your way up in terms of escalation.
Yep.
It has a really good puzzle when it comes to polyomino placing, but that puzzle always feels like you're up against something that is inevitably going to destroy you.
Yeah.
And if you win, it feels good. But more often than not, I think you'll probably lose. And
more often than not, I only lose with you playing.
Yeah, but I'm speaking for myself here.
Okay.
Yeah. More often than not, I lose.
Sure.
Yeah. So you gotta have some empathy there.
And I completely agree with everything you're saying there.
Yeah.
This very much is a game that, while I love it, again, if you've watched my Kingdom Rush Rift in Time review, I unabashedly love this game.
Sure.
The system in general and Elemental Uprising as well, though we're kind of skipping to final thoughts here. But overall, I would say that while I do love the system, for many people, it may not be the game you're looking for. If you're not looking for a tactical puzzle, this is not for you. If you're looking for light polyomino fun without having to worry about the consequence of your actions, you're going to die a lot in this game.
I don't really want to play this game at 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I talked about my other review.
It can play up to those levels,
yeah.
And maybe that is right for some people, but when you get to that level, you're using less towers, you have more character abilities on the board, which is interesting, but you have less places to place your cards.
Yeah.
For me, multiplayer 2 is the best round.
So I've played this 1, 2, and 3. I enjoy it very much at 1. You get the perfect puzzle, but a little bit less of the social element.
It's a great solo game.
I've played it at 2 a lot and liked it. Yeah. At 3, it was tolerable, but I already started to notice the drop in the experience with that third player.
The degree of interaction and ownership you have over what's happening.
Absolutely. And then lastly, for the things I'm going to throw in my others not liking, this is again going to be a bit of a difference between Elemental Uprising and the original Rift in Time. While overall, and again, skipping to final thoughts, while overall, I think I prefer Elemental Uprising to Rift in Time, at least based on the prototype and how I can extrapolate from there. I will say that for a new player, I think the towers, in an effort to be different, which I like having different towers, I think that they are a little bit less clean and simple than the original game.
Yeah, but they are also purposefully working to make Elemental Uprising a more accessible and slightly easier game for newer players, because there was a lot of criticism in Rift in Time in terms of the degree of challenge that it presented.
Sure.
So I don't disagree that there's more complexity.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that there's more complexity in the cards, but alongside that, I think the game itself will probably be, in the way that they walk you through it, my assumption is it's going to be just as...
So you're saying the game as a whole is better tuned for new players?
Yes. That's my stance.
Yeah, and again, keep in mind, for myself,
and that is to a degree trusting Lucky Duck and what they say they're going to be doing.
Sure. Makes sense. So that's going to be those categories. Lastly, we get to final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I think if you already own Rift in Time and you have played it and enjoyed it, there is no reason not to get this one. From my stance, it adds new towers, it adds new abilities, new heroes, new characters. If you're already playing through the core and you enjoy it, this is going to add to that experience. If you have not played Rift in Time, I think this would be the appropriate place to start from what Lucky Duck has communicated.
Sure.
And I also think because Kickstarter is the most because GameFound is the most accessible way to get these towers and these upgraded abilities. I think this is the right place to jump in.
Sure, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. My final thoughts on this game are going to be basically this is. I mean, I've hinted about this to a degree throughout this conversation, but I like Elemental Uprising a lot. I think I like it more than the original Rift in Time. I still love Rift in Time. I'm very curious to see what the final game looks like in terms of the upgradable stickers, the various terrains, the different heroes, the new bosses. We haven't been able to encounter any of the new bosses yet at all. They have this giant swamp monstery thing and this elemental.
The elemental thing looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun.
I want to paint it.
Well, yeah, sure, go for it. Paint it. Paint away. We still need to paint some time.
Send me the prototype.
In any case, but yeah, so overall, I like Rift in Time. I like Elemental Uprising a lot, slightly more than Rift in Time, but ultimately they're both delivering on the same gameplay experience that I already love. They are both solid choices. I would not try to push either. I'm saying this poorly. I would not push either of these away from you. I'm still saying it poorly. Yeah. I recommend both of them, is what I'm trying to say. I recommend both of them. I hear what you're saying on the accessibility and the difficulty level thing. For myself, I don't know. I can't say that. Again, message-wise, I'm fine with it. I've never had a problem with the difficulty in the original.
Yeah, but you're a monster.
But no, it's I like leveling up, and you have to level up those towers.
You're a monster.
Yeah, so
I
like
base
both.
other people's experiences.
No, I know it's a thing. I know it's a real thing, but I just can't compare my own experience to them in a sense. But yeah, and that's going to be ultimately that. For myself, a score, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, I started adding scores to my reviews. Fun fact.
I did know that, but your scores are arbitrary.
They're arbitrary. Of course they're arbitrary. Everything's arbitrary. It's an opinion.
No, I know, but didn't Ricky give a score that was like, you out of the blue asked her to give a score, and she just threw up a 9 because it was nearly perfect.
I hadn't warned her.
Yes, I know, but it was nearly perfect. But it specifically had one thing that wasn't quite.
It was a little bit too intimidating for her. Still, she thought it was still a little bit overwhelming.
But
not a lot of.
But it wasn't too overwhelming because it would have been lower. It would have been a 7 if it was too overwhelming.
Exactly, which is fair. That's arbitrary. That's cool. For me, Kingdom Rush.
You also didn't warn me about the scores. So.
I didn't warn you at all. Apparently, you knew. Kingdom Rush as a whole, I for myself, I would put it as an 8 out of 10. I like the system a lot. The reason it's not a higher score is because ultimately it very much is a tactile thing. It's a thing that on the one hand, as a plus, I get lost in the game as I play it.
Okay.
As a negative, sometimes as I play again and again and again, I sometimes almost forget that I'm playing a game and I'm just like going through a process to a certain degree. It's a game that has tons of fun moments and a lot of, well, how do I solve this, this, and this? Which again, overall I love. But for me, an 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'm giving it 3 bourbons out of 5.
That's an excellent choice.
Because from my standard, 3 bourbons is the right amount to sit down and play this game. If I got to 4, I feel like I'd be crossing the line where the puzzle was a little bit too far for me to really engage with it fully.
I want to see a bourbon scoring system from your channel.
I mean, that's the... Listen, if I'm sitting down to play this game, I'm aiming for that sweet spot.
Excellent. And so that would be our review of Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising, available on GameFound now or soon, depending on when this review goes up exactly. But at some point in the foreseeable past or future, you can get this game on GameFound.
And along with that, if you made it to this part of the video, Alex does his very best to respond to every comment down below. And so not only leave a quack out of appreciation for the history that we all have together, but also if you have any questions, if you want to know more details about our experience with this game, or you feel like we didn't critically or positively answer anything specifically, we are not scared of questions. Feel free to let us know your thoughts and opinions and inquiries in the P.O. box.
Down below.
Yeah.
Until next time, and as always, have a good one.